Camden's DeJuan Wagner is regarded as one of the best high school basketball players in the nation. A generation earlier, his father, Milt, was a star himself at Camden and now watches in amazement as his son takes his team to greater heights. DeJuan's spectacular last-second basket against St. Patrick's in the semifinal round of the Tournament of Champions catapulted Camden to the finals, giving the school a chance to claim the title. The Seton Hall Prep Pirates have advanced to the finals for the 4th consecutive year. The defending champions are currently ranked number 3 nationally. But tonight, the Pirates only want to prove one thing, that they're number 1 in the state of New Jersey. Welcome to the Rutgers Athletic Center in Piscataway for the boys' final of the New Jersey Tournament of Champions. Tonight, it's the Camden Panthers against the Seton Hall Pirates for the title. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Beck with Rob Kennedy, Seton Hall Prep, and Camden. What great tradition when you talk about high school basketball. Camden has won 10 state championships. Seton Hall Prep, 5 straight parochial A-state titles. They're defending champion in this tournament. And Rob, tonight, they go head-to-head.
Well, you talk about the tradition, you think of Camden back to the 70s and 80s, where they're trying to rekindle that tradition with a great run here in the state tournament. Seton Hall, they're trying to take their tradition to another level, trying to repeat as the TOC champs.
Camden has won 25 of 26, and if that streak is going to continue, they've got to do it at the free throw line.
Like they did against Shabazz in the Group 3 final, where they shot it at 90%. They hope it's not like the TFC semifinal, where they shot it at 50. In the Group 3 final, one guy who was 14 for 14 from the line was DeJuan Wagner. He does everything. You know this guy's the best junior in the country, one of the most exciting players. He can create his own shot any place on the floor. He's a great ball handler, gets by people, but he's also a very good outside shooter, puts tons of pressure on people, scored over 1,000 points this season.
How about Seton Hall Prep? They're 29-1 despite losing their best player, Marcus Toniel, in January to an injury. And this ball club right now ranked number 3 in the nation.
And that's because they get so many different people involved. This is truly a team effort. They're on a 25-game win streak, including 54 against New Jersey teams. But the last game, boy, did they throw it around from the foul line. Just 1 of 11 in the 4th quarter. Bob Farrell hopes his team is ready to convert come crunch time. He certainly has been able to turn all season long inside to Mark Curry, a guy who's really stepped up his game. He's a terrific post player. Screens, does all the little things inside that you want from a post guy. And when he sits down inside, he is certainly tough to handle. Even though he's only 6'5", he's got great strength inside.
Seton Hall Prep is the number 1 seed. Camden, number 3. It's Seton Hall defense against Camden offense. And we'll see a lot of talent in the court tonight, including Arthur Barkley, the 6'8" senior of the Panthers, and Robert Sullivan, the 6-foot guard of the Pirates. We'll be right back. Lewis Brown Athletic Center on the campus of Rutgers University in Piscataway for tonight's championship game. And what a matchup we have. The Camden Panthers 27-5, Seton Hall Pirates 29-1. And there's Glenn Jackson, only 30 years of age, doing a marvelous job with this Camden program.
He was a player on the last state championship team, now trying to coach one as well.
And here's the starting lineup for the Panthers. It's Pulliam and Wood up front, Arthur Barkley in the middle, and Dorian Brown and DeJuan Wagner averaging 32.8 points per ball game in the backcourt. The head coach of Seton Hall, Bobby Farrell, in his 23rd year, a winning percentage of .791. 5 parochial A-state titles in a row, 8 out of 10, and they won the Tournament of Champions a year ago after being runner-up 3 different times. In his starting lineup, Joe Martinez and Mark Curry at the forward spots, Dan Natural in the middle, and Robert Sullivan and Tyrone Barley in the backcourt. Tremendous crowd here at Rutgers to see this matchup And as I mentioned, you know, it's a defensive team. Seton Hall Prep, they kind of chop away at teams. They take away your interior game against the Camden Panthers, who love to push it and love to score.
Oh, you talk about the defense of Seton Hall Prep. They've held 24 opponents under 50 points this year. Camden on the other end, they like to get out and run. This is a team that was averaging near 90 points per game in the state tournament until their last game against St. Pat's, where they were able to win with a game in the 60s. That shows you that they were able to adjust.
Seton Hall currently number 3 in the nation. Dominguez from Compton, California is number 1, and Oak Hill is number 2. And Oak Hill dealt Seton Hall their only loss of the year.
That was a 10-point loss down at the Beach Ball Classic in the championship game.
Camden Panthers coming into this ball game winning 25 of 26. They started slow, won just 2 of their first 6 ball games before pulling it together. Last year they were on probation. This year they're allowed to participate in the Tournament of Champions, and the kids have really fed off the opportunity.
And you talk about that slow start. The biggest reason was because DeJuan Wagner was banged up. They also played a very aggressive non-conference schedule before they got going. But this team has really rallied, and they've used last year's suspension to get them fired up and focused here in the state tournament. They've been on a mission.
That suspension stemmed from a brawl, and therefore they only played 17 ball games a year ago. They went 14-3, no postseason, but this year they're trying to make up for it. The officials for tonight's game: Robert Lauterhahn, Renee Ruth, and Robert Johnson. So here we go. Camden in the visiting purple with the gold trim. Seton Hall Prep in the home white with the blue trim. Arthur Barkley jumping up against Mark Curry. And they will do it again.
Good look at O.G. Barkley, one of the top unsigned seniors in the country. Struggled offensively against St. Pat's. They really collapsed it in, took them out of the game offensively.
Opening tip goes to the Camden Panthers. Dorian Brown. Inside pass for Barkley, knocked out of bounds. Arthur Barkley, 24.6 points per game, 16.8 rebounds. And John Calipari, among the many coaches who are here tonight to try to get a good look at some of these youngsters, including Arthur Barkley and DeJuan Wagner. Calipari now at the University of Memphis, and hoping to turn things around with that program. And we know he can recruit.
And not wasted any time. We saw him at the semifinals the other night as well. He certainly wants to make Arthur Barkley one of the centerpieces, just like Lou Rowe from Atlantic City was one of the centerpieces up at UMass.
It's a good point. Seton Hall Prep with the ball. This is Mark Curry. Hands to Joe Martinez, 3-sport athlete, very good competitor. And getting the roll is Robert Sullivan, and it's 2-0 Seton Hall Prep.
And you see the patience of Seton Hall Prep. They run great half-court offense. They'll run it time and time again until they get good looks.
Pulling it outside to Dorian Brown. Here's Barkley, and he shows his range. He hits the jumper.
And he can keep you honest. One of the reasons he was negated offensively the other night was a great defensive job by the junior Marcus Austin, who's 6'10". Seton Hall does not have that kind of size inside.
Barkley had only 7 points against St. Patrick's in the semifinals. Oh, good quick hands by Dorian Brown. Look out! DeJuan Wagner gets his first bucket of the night.
And that gets the Camden faithful going. He gets out in transition, just put it ahead. He'll give you a full range and array of dunks in the open floor.
DeJuan Wagner had 47 against Shabazz. Once had 80 in a ball game this year against Pennsauken Tech.
Amazing thing, 80. That was the 4th highest point total in school history. You got to be kidding me.
Now that's tradition. Wagner from way downtown. And the long rebound comes down to Tyrone Barley. Bo very quietly has done a real good job this year. The 6'1" senior from Newark. Sullivan misses, and the ball goes out of bounds. It will be Camden basketball.
Oh, he said Camden wants to get out in transition. It starts with their defense. Is Brown able to strip the ball? And once you got the ball, find Wagner. He's so fast in the open floor, able to finish with a flurry.
Wagner, and he gets the roll.
You see how he creates shots for himself, though. He's so strong, able to put the ball to the floor, the little lean in. He's got great upper body strength to finish.
6-2, Panthers with the lead. Natural outside Barley. Sullivan pulls up, and the rebound comes down to Brown. He loses it to Natural, and a foul called. And there's the hustle of Natural. He was the sixth man before Tony L went down with the injury. He plays within himself, but he's a typical Seton Hall prep player.
He does all the little things. He stepped in off the bench. Take a look right here. Good smart play. You see that you've got an opportunity to come up with the basketball. Goes strong to the goal to pick up the foul.
So Natural, 6.5 points, 3.7 rebounds per ball game, hits the first.
And he always seems to play big in big games. Bob Farrell said when he replaced Marcus Toniel with Natural, he wasn't worried about it. He knew he was going to step in and do a terrific job.
And remember last year, the Tournament of Champions, he made 4 big free throws, 4 for 4 in the third and fourth quarter.
And he's one of those guys who's just quiet and confident, but certainly has a mental toughness come down the stretch.
Wood loses the ball. And it's picked up by Martinez. 6-3. Camden with the lead. We've played over 3 minutes. Natural hands to Martinez. And the long rebound to Curry. Sullivan. And that's over the back. It's on Natural.
A good drive right here by Robert Sullivan, able to get into the lane, puts it up, just unable to finish. Natural trying to be aggressive on the offensive boards, comes over the back.
Out of the backcourt, Dorian Brown. They call him Baby Glove after Gary Payton. Wagner, got it.
You saw Barley strip at the basketball, may have even gotten a piece. But if you're going to take the ball out of his hands, you might as well pound it out of there. He's just got the great strength to come through.
Wagner with 6. Camden by 5. Natural to Curry. And Curry's been very quiet, hasn't really gone to the basket.
No, and they've not been able to post him up, which is where they want to see if they can't dump it into him.
Big rebound for Arthur Barkley. He had 21 boards against Florence to go with 31 points.
He's been averaging 20 rebounds in the state tournament. How about those numbers?
Teron Wood gets into the act, and Camden with a 10-3 lead. And Bobby Farrell says, just take it easy, guys.
And here's where they need a good offensive possession.
Camden 5 for 6 from the field thus far. Seton Hall Prep struggling for the field. Curry with good position.
And that's where they're best. When they run through their half-court sets, get that weak side screen coming off on a little flex cut and getting Curry inside.
Curry bound for Delaware next year. 10-5 lead for Camden. And there's the range again of Arthur Barkley. That's why Temple, Georgia Tech, Memphis, Cal, Providence, St. Joe's, LaSalle, Georgetown, and Virginia are all interested.
Oh, and why not? You see his strength and size inside, but also showing you can face up as well.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Seton Hall Prep will keep possession. And we've got a timeout on the floor. 12-5 the early lead to Camden as they flex some inside muscle. Well, you want to talk about the battle on the inside, Arthur Barkley and Mark Curry.
Well, good adjustment by Barkley. Last game, they bodied him up inside, so what's he do today? He steps out, and he's shown you that he can hit the foul line jumper, his second. So if they're going to lean 3-4 guys on you, if you can step out and make shots, it's a lot easier to get yourself going.
2:32 to go in this opening quarter. Barkley already has hit 2 buckets. Wagner has 6. Wagner is a junior and Barkley a senior.
Those guys usually shoulder the brunt of their scoring.
And this is a guy who shouldered the brunt of Seton Hall's success this year. Mark Curry, when Marcus Toniel went down with a broken foot on January 24th versus Morristown, it was Curry who came forward, and nobody seemed to get too unraveled because Curry's presence. He said, guys, we're going to do it, and they have. They rattled off 18 straight, including a win over Rice in the first game without Toniel. Wagner, and the rebound pulled in by Seton Hall Prep. Young Jamar Nutter is on the floor for Seton Hall Prep, number 22. And here's a steal by Pulliam, and we get a whistle, a traveling violation.
He tried to come to the jump stop, ball fake for the defense to go by, but he shuffled his feet down low. See right there, he slides his back foot. Good call by the officials right on top of it.
Bobby Farrell giving some advice to Robert Sullivan, who races it across. Fast first quarter. And that ball knocked out of bounds. No foul. Good defense employed by Wagner.
Wagner aggressive defensively right there, able to time it and get all ball.
That pass will send Seton Hall Prep all the way to the backcourt. That's Jamar Nutter, who Bobby Farrell calls a special freshman. He's 6'2", 180 pounds, and has a chance to be a real good one.
And he's a great defender as well. Did a good job against Jeff Schiffner in the semifinals.
Natural to Sullivan. Natural keeps it alive, but the rebound is corralled by Arthur Barkley.
Well, Bob Farrell's team right now just can't buy a basket.
Here's DeJuan Wagner. Pulls up. Offensive foul.
Now, smart play by Natural. You know that Wagner loves to put the ball to the floor. He loves to lean in. You got to try and see if you can't negate some of his scores. Good defense by Natural. A little acting job, not a whole lot of contact right there, but you've got to step in and try and take some charges against Wagner.
Camden with a 12-5 lead. And out of bounds, Natural stepped out, and it's Camden ball on the turnover.
And that's very uncharacteristic of Seton Hall Prep, and this is a team that runs great patterned offense. They haven't been able to get into it.
Seton Hall Prep, the number 1 seed. Camden, number 3. And a traveling violation is called on Dorian Brown. So a little sloppy on the part of both clubs. 6 turnovers already for the Panthers. Camden looking for a return to glory. Their last title was in 1987. In '86, they were the national champions. Nutter, miss it. Rebound Barkley.
Camden's really done a great job on the defensive boards. It's been one and done for the Prep.
Dorian Brown spinning. Hands to Barkley. And the long rebound to Curry. Tyrone Barley with Curry. Gives to Natural filling. Curry with the follow. And they miss a couple of chippies. And now Brown with the ball. Intercepted by Nutter.
Wow, some defense both ways. You see the quickness of both of these teams. Nutter covers a ton of ground right now to knock this one back out of there. How about the athletic ability of that freshman?
Well, here's the scouting report on Nutter. Juice on offense, comes off the bench. He's the real deal. He can play the 1, the 2, or the 3. And there's a 3. DeJuan Wagner.
And he's got NBA range. You got to get out and get a hand on him. He puts the ball so high in the air, it comes down wet sometimes.
DeJuan Wagner with 9 points in the first quarter, including a 3 at the buzzer. And Camden has opened up a 10-point lead, 15-5. Look at that NBA range by Wagner. Well, there's Milt Wagner, who scored 1,834 points at Louisville, 4th in the all-time scoring list. And, of course, he was a legend in Camden. And now his son, DeJuan Wagner, has carried the torch, so to speak. And he is the outstanding junior, perhaps the best in the nation.
And his father's run titles at every level: high school, college, national championship at Louisville, and a ring in the NBA with the Lakers. And
That's
now
right.
son's trying to get his first of those championships.
Second quarter of play, 15-5 Camden. Tyrone Barley to Nutter. Seton Hall Prep looking for some offense, and there it is. Mark Curry down low. He averages 11.7 per ball game.
And when they've turned it over, swung the ball side to side, good ball reversal, each of those times they've got Curry inside. They've been a little quick with shots on the perimeter.
Wagner for 3. And he gets a lot of arc in his shot, a lot more than his dad used to shoot.
His dad used to have those line drives, but they went in, you know?
Can't argue with success. Natural pops it outside to Robert Sullivan. Seton Hall Prep down by 8. And Seton Hall Prep still struggling for the field.
Well, the first quarter they really struggled, just as they did in the fourth quarter of the semifinal game.
Natural gets the offensive rebound off the Sullivan miss. Here's Barley. He connects.
And that's where he's at his best, when he's getting into the lane, slashing. He took a couple outside shots to start things off. That's not his game.
4 straight for the Pirates. Barkley. He got away with steps. Nope, they called it.
They had all those officials in the student section behind him. They helped him out with the walk call there.
7 turnovers now for Camden. Seton Hall Prep has played quality opponents all year. They beat Lower Richland from South Carolina, #1 in the state, #21 in the country at the time. They beat Berkmar, Georgia, #1 in the state at the time. Beat St. Pat's of New Jersey, of course, #3 in the state. Beat Rice High School at the time. They were #14 in the country without Tony L. And they beat CBA, #2 in New Jersey, #9 in the country at the time they did it.
So you would expect with those kind of games, as you look at the turnovers both ways, that they would not get rattled.
Exactly.
That they'd have patience and try and get into their sets offensively.
Coach Glenn Jackson barking out a set play. Here's Teron Wood. And the pass intended for Barkley is thrown away. So Camden's been careless with the basketball here at the beginning of the second quarter.
And Glenn Jackson's team's at their best when they're in transition. They were able to turn some defense into offense early on. But now once they've had to walk the ball up into the half court, haven't had as much movement.
Barley short, gets his own rebound. And he puts it in. 6 straight for the Pirates.
And he's got to forget about that outside shot. It's not there. Put it to the floor and get to the basket.
4-point ball game. Dorian Brown working against Sullivan. And another turnover committed by the Panthers.
If you're going to get into the lane, put it down to the floor. Little bounce pass, allow the big guy an opportunity to adjust.
And a timeout taken by Camden. Glenn Jackson does not like what he sees, especially on offense, as his lead has been cut to 4 points. Camden's taken 12 field goal attempts, and they've committed 9 turnovers.
When they've gotten shots, they've made them. You got to take care of the basketball, though, to get more shots.
Well, that man has been smiling a lot lately. Tommy Amaker headed to the Sweet 16 in Syracuse to take on a very tough Oklahoma State team. He looks like he's having a good time.
Getting plenty of airtime this past week all over the media, not only throughout the region, but throughout the country. But a great win over Temple.
Absolutely. It was fun to see when he came in, him and Milt Wagner with their little interplay, pointing at each other, laughing at each other. 6-0 run. The lead has gone from 10 to 4. Natural outside to Curry. Jamar Nutter. Here's a 3 by Sullivan. And the rebound corralled by Teron Wood.
Out of the timeout, tried to run the double screen to free up Sullivan from beyond the arc.
Dorian Brown out of the backcourt, one of the better defenders in the state, also handles a lot of the point guard roles.
Going head-to-head against another one of the best defenders in the state. That's a great matchup out at the point. Great quickness from both guys. He and Sullivan really going at each other.
Wagner having trouble getting free. He can't control the ball, and a turnover against the Panthers, which is number 10.
Boy, and their offense is really bogged down here the last couple of minutes. You see as Wagner's going to catch the ball, 2 white jerseys hanging all over him.
Is that Seton Hall's defense or Camden's offense, or a little of both?
A little of both. I mean, Seton Hall really gets up and puts pressure. They have great quickness at all 5 positions.
Strong move by Barley. It's tipped up by Natural and finally pulled in by Barkley. Here's Wagner.
Going up.
Wagner loses the handle, taken away by Barley. A tremendous defensive sequence.
Well, you see, once he starts standing up, as Camden caught in a drought right now, once he starts standing up, I guarantee you that basketball's going up.
Barley for 3. Long rebound to Nutter. Curry. He hits it.
That's the guy they've got to get shots. Again, there are too many outside shots for the Prep right now. They're not a great three-point shooting team, but when they get it inside, going to the goal, or posting Curry up, they're very effective.
Curry has 6. The Seton Hall run is 8-0. And good hustle again on the part of Tyrone Barley. Off the bench for Camden now. Matthew Perry, number 23. Their starting middle linebacker on the football team reports in. And we have a timeout with 3:43 to go in the second quarter. Seton Hall Prep has pulled within 2. Seton Hall Prep down by 10 a couple moments ago, now within 2.
Well, now they're starting to put the ball to the floor, trying to dribble drive into the lane. That's where they're at their best. Mark Curry with a good pull-up and a nice soft touch for the finish.
So instead of pulling up from 18 or 20, here's a guy who's pinching and finding an easy shot.
Well, that's the thing, and we saw a couple outside shots, ill-advised, and this is a team that usually has more patience offensively, but they were letting fly the threes early on instead of getting it in.
What does Camden need to do here offensively just to get a shot off and to kind of gather their composure?
Well, they got to run some offense. Right now, Glenn Jackson's team just throwing the basketball around, turning it over, but you got to run and get some movement. They've only had 1 field goal attempt to 5 turnovers.
Unbelievable. Good inside passing. James Pulliam gets the bucket, and it gives Camden a 4-point lead.
And a little ball movement, you swing it once or twice, get into the lane, you find easy shots.
Natural. Back outside, Sullivan. Here's Nutter on the drive. And a traveling violation is called. But that first step's pretty quick.
And aggressive as well. Most times freshmen just content to be in the game, not so. Driving the ball in and challenging Wagner.
We've had some pretty good point guards here over the years. Brandon Knight, Brevin Knight, Mel Knight.
The Knights.
Barkley can't control, but he was hacked from behind. Looks like it's going to be on Mark Curry or Natural. We'll wait for the call. It's on Curry.
One of those point guards, Ryan Peterson, with a memorable performance against St. Anthony's, one of the great high school basketball games of all time in this state.
And good position there for Arthur Barkley off the miss. He just gathered it in calmly and put it up for 2.
Also able to adjust as the defender came over to challenge. He pulled it back, the athletic ability to stay with it.
6 for Barkley. 6-point lead for the Panthers. Nutter to an open Sullivan. Nutter gets the board. Sullivan dishes to Natural. He gets it.
Oh, how about that pass? Knifing by 2 defenders, able to find Natural inside.
Here's DeJuan Wagner. Off balance. It's blocked. Knocked away by Barley. 3-on-2. The lead to Sullivan, who puts it in. And Seton Prep pulls within 2 points.
That's the way to transition from defense to offense. You make a big defensive play with the block, get it out and run.
What a great bounce pass. And Camden losing the ball, but it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Seton Hall Prep. Panthers will keep possession.
Take a look at Arthur Barkley inside, able to get the inside position. See how he adjusted the shot as well to finish.
Wagner with a hand in his face. Fall away. Short, and it goes out of bounds. And right now, Tyrone Barley is in his jock. He's doing a terrific defensive job.
And he's all over it. Here's that great pass by Robert Sullivan into the lane, able to wrap it around and find Natural, who finishes with the left.
1:42 to go in this first half. Seton Hall within 2. Natural makes the move, throws it up, offensive foul.
Oh, great defense by Arthur Barkley to come on over and hold his ground. Natural a little out of control. He's got a long ways to cover right there, and look at the defensive rotation, no question about that, as Barkley gives up his body.
Second foul on Natural, 3rd team foul on Seton Hall Prep. Camden has committed only 2 team fouls. Matthew Perry has it thrown away, picked off by Seton Hall. Another turnover. That's 12 in this first half. And off the bench is Amani Wilson for the Panthers, replacing Matthew Perry. Barley calling a set play. Seton Hall with a chance to tie or take the lead. They go to Curry, backs in on Barkley, and Barkley is called for a foul, extending the arm. He's not happy about it.
Well, both guys battling inside. Curry does a great job of really sitting down on the post. Camden thought there was a walk, but instead they got the bump from behind.
Even in the NBA now, they call that with the arm on the opponent. Good look to Curry, who lays it in and ties the game at 19.
That's great execution coming on the baseline out of bounds. They get the basketball in, the good weak side screen, and when Curry runs into the post, off that screen, he's tough.
Traveling violation called against Dorian Brown. 13 Camden turnovers. And Seton Hall Prep with the basketball again. And a chance to take the lead. A lot of turnovers by Seton Hall Prep, too, for the first time.
21 turnovers between them.
Hence a low-scoring first half. Jamar Nutter gets it to Curry. He spins. He's tied up by Barkley. But they've got Camden on a foul. It's on DeJuan Wagner, his 2nd personal.
And he played with foul trouble in the semifinal game, picking up his 3rd foul in the 2nd quarter.
Missed about 4 minutes, and the team still handled themselves pretty well.
And then he stepped back in and played aggressive defense and played the remainder of the game, just picking up his 4th foul very late in the 4th quarter.
In the ball game for Seton Hall Prep is Russell Verducci, replacing Dan Natural. Curry hitting the first free throw, averaging 11.7 points, 8.2 boards. Wagner goes to the bench with 2 fouls. Smart move by Coach Jackson, you don't want to get 3 right here before the half.
A good substitution because round number 2, Wagner likes to lean in, go to the basket, somebody slides over and picks up a charge. Good substitution by Glenn Jackson.
So Seton Hall Prep has taken the lead, 21-19. Brown looks, and it goes through the hands and out of bounds. Amani Wilson couldn't grab the trigger. 14 turnovers. And Seton Hall Prep might be wise here to hold for 1.
And Brown trying to force the action, but at times when he's getting into the lane, he's out of control.
It was 15-5 at the end of 1. Camden with the lead.
Little double stack delay, made famous by Georgetown and John Thompson.
The Panthers have scored only 4 here in the second quarter. Coming up on 10 seconds to go. Sullivan. Hands to Barley, back to Sullivan. Ball knocked away, picked off by Brown, and he's called for traveling with 0.6 of a second remaining in the half.
Well, you can go to the ground to come up with the basketball, but you cannot stand up. Good call by the official.
Seton Hall Prep will have to turn quickly and fire. Sullivan will inbound. And that will do it for the first half of play. So a stunning change in the second quarter. Seton Hall Prep outscoring Camden 16-4, and they lead it by 2.
Oh, their defense really stepped up for Bob Farrell's team, allowed them to get back into it when they started running some good offense.
So it's 21-19. Low scoring first half here at the Rack. Mick Moninhoff, Rob Brooks with our halftime show coming up in a moment.
We are back here at Rutgers, and we are at halftime with Seton Hall Prep roaring back to take a lead over Camden by the count of 21-19. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Mick Moninhoff, and once again, joining Rob Brooks and myself are Kevin Boyle, the head coach of St. Pat's of Elizabeth, and also Mike Quick, basketball guru extraordinary from the MSG Network. Now, Mike, give me your impressions of the first half as Seton Hall Prep comes roaring back.
Well, I think right away, Mick, what you saw was Robert Sullivan have a little too much adrenaline for the Pirates. That's un-Robert Sullivan-like, where he comes out and he's looking for shots right away. I think once he calmed down, they got to the end of the first quarter, and the master could X and O. You saw the Seton Hall Prep team we've all grown accustomed to.
And, Coach, what did you see in Camden that you liked? What did you see there that you didn't like that was detrimental to their game plan?
Well, I think Wagner came in early, got some baskets, hit a 3. However, Barley's done a tremendous job in the second quarter of defending Wagner. He's gotten 2 strips on the way up in the right-hand corner. He also defended a shot in the right-hand corner where Wagner took an off-balance 3, and he blocked a shot in the left corner. So Barley's been tremendous defensively on Wagner, and team defense by Seton Hall Prep's been outstanding.
Well, let's take a look at some of our highlights, and I really think that in the first half it was the play of Mark Curry for Seton Hall Prep that really got it done, Mike, and Curry goes inside and asserts himself. That's a key.
Well, that's no question. He got points, and that was big. Only 2 points in the first quarter. But what this Seton Hall Prep team has is a great sixth man, the freshman Jamar Nutter, going up. That kind of got them a charge late in the first quarter. And then in that second quarter, well, 6'4" Delaware-bound Mark Curry kind of took over. A couple of big lay-ins as they put that lead. They jawed away at that lead. They outscored Camden 16-4 in the second quarter. But here's another great play by Barley. He got the steal and the great diagonal bounce pass to Sullivan, who gives him a good lane right to the basket, lay in. I think Seton Hall Prep is in real good shape right now.
And the story for Camden, of course, you said he would have 36 points. He only has 9 to this point. DeJuan Wagner, the excitement in the first half of this Camden squad.
Well, I think he's settled a few times for some long threes, too. And he's got to, be patient, let the game come to him. He's not going to get quite the attempts. Here he goes to start with a beautiful dunk, obviously getting out there to start the game 2-0. But I think he's got to be patient. Barley's going to limit his touches. He may have to give it up a little more like he did to Pullman in the first half when he made it, I think it became 17-13 on a drive and dish down, and let his teammates score when they look to help on him a little bit.
Most of the highlights you see here, jump shots, you say that he needs to give it up a little bit more in the first half.
Well, I think they're keying on him. They're obviously trying to limit his touches, trying to close the lanes on him, and sometimes he might start to the basket and dump it down, and then that will open it up for him more as the game goes along. Secondly, I think Seton Hall has done a fabulous job in the second quarter being patient. Early in the game, they were not patient on offense. Once they became patient into the third and fourth pass, they're getting the ball in the Curry a little bit, they're getting some penetration, and if they continue that, they are in good shape.
Well, right now, with Seton Hall Prep leading at the half, Mike Quick, would you make any adjustments or continue on the same game plan that it has right now, just like Coach Boyle says, being patient and reversing that ball as much as you can?
Mick, I don't think I'd change a thing from that second quarter on. They were spectacular, and I think when you look at the stats at the second half, for that first half, big one right off the bat, Mark Curry, 1 foul. We talked about it before the game. That's huge for Seton Hall Prep. Robert Sullivan, we talked about it before as well. He plays great in the third quarter against quality teams. Watch out for number 23 for the Prep.
Well, it's time to wrap things up. I know, Coach Boyle, you're going to say, get the ball in Wagner's hands and let him go off.
Well, the other issue with Wagner is this. He often starts slow and has a big second half. I remember, I think it was Bishop Eustace, he had 0 at halftime and 44 in the second half. And Bishop Eustace and Camden Catholic, it's happened to both teams, and they're both well-coached teams and good defensive teams.
Coach Boyle, thanks for joining us. Mike Quick, as always, a pleasure to have you on CN8. We'll come back with more in a moment, so stay with us right here on CN8. 21-19 at the half with Seton Hall Prep out front of Camden. Rob, early it looked like Camden was going to run away.
Camden got the points real early. DeJuan Wagner, nobody can stop him. When he doesn't want to be stopped, he hits the early three, and Camden had all the momentum in the first quarter, Mick.
Yeah, but still, those 2 mini 8-point runs, and Curry leading the way for Seton Hall Prep, getting it done. He's asserting himself inside is exactly what Seton Hall Prep needed, and that's why right now they lead at the half by the count of 21-19. Well, stay with us. We'll be back. Start of the second half is coming up, and we'll get back to Bruce Beck and Rob Kennedy, so don't go away. Great game right here on CNA.
Seton Hall Pirates lead the Camden Panthers 21-19 at halftime. And the Panthers were turning it over in that second quarter of play, and Seton Hall Prep came back. They went on a 16-4 run, and there's no way you can have the same amount of turnovers as shots.
No, and that's because of the Seton Hall Prep defense. I mean, they really got out and guarded it. Prep is all about defense and patterned offense. Their patterned offense wasn't so good in the first half, but their defense, especially in the second quarter, was terrific.
DeJuan Wagner was a house on fire in the first quarter, but he finished the first half with only 9. And Mark Curry, the guy that Seton Hall really wanted to get into the flow, he has 10 to lead the Pirates.
When they've been able to put it inside, he's delivered.
And as far as the overall statistics are concerned, there are those numbers I talked about. 17 field goals taken by Camden, but 15 turnovers. They're not enabling their guys with great talent to do their thing.
And it's been a tale of 2 quarters. The first quarter, Camden shot the ball terrific. You see in the first quarter, Seton Hall Prep couldn't buy a basket, but that certainly changed around in the second quarter when the Prep all of a sudden started making shots.
So here we go. Third quarter of play. Tournament of Champions, the 12th annual classic, sponsored by the NJSIAA, the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. There's Bobby Farrell, whose team won it all a year ago after being the bridesmaid 3 times in the 90s. And there's Coach Glenn Jackson trying to bring that great tradition back to Camden. Out of the backcourt, Dorian Brown looks inside. Good feed to Teron Wood, but then he loses the ball. And we start the third quarter the same way we ended the second. Brown to Wagner. Wagner pulls up and hits.
And stops on a dime when he got deep into the lane. They've been able to find him in half court, but in transition, you can't run 2 guys at him. One-on-one, he's nearly unstoppable.
11 points for Wagner.
Little half-court trap from Camden as they try and turn up the pressure.
Tyrone Barley kicks it to Robert Sullivan, and he buries a 3-point field goal.
Well, you go half-court trap, you get a good skip pass over top. Long distance for the defense to recover, and he gets an open look from 3.
Seton Hall Prep up by 3. Wagner penetrates, and a reach-in foul is called on his move. Robert Sullivan grabbed him, and he's charged with the personal.
Sullivan's recruitment has really stepped it up. Not quite to DeJuan Wagner's level, as he has every school in the country trying to chase him around this summer as a junior. Brown
looking to penetrate. Barkley hasn't touched the ball in a while. They got to get him the basketball. Now Brown penetrates. And an offensive foul. No, a blocking foul on Mark Curry. And he is irate.
Well, and he should be. What a terrible call right there. He puts his head down. He's out of control. Good defensive position. You see a guard come flying through the lane like this as an official. This is an easy call right there. His head's down. Curry looked like he had good position. Send it the other way.
2 on Curry. 2 on the prep. Camden will inbound. There's a little bit of wetness on the floor from the perspiration, so that's what they're trying to dry up here. Tremendous crowd here at the rack tonight. Crowd in excess of 7,000.
It's a great place to showcase the high school state tournament.
A truncated pyramid.
That's right. Perfect size building.
And the steal by Robert Sullivan. He goes coast to coast for the lay-in.
Little interference out in transition by Tyrone Barley to make sure that Wagner was unable to get a piece of it.
Sullivan with 9, biggest lead for Seton Hall, 5 points, 26-21.
Here's where Wagner loves to just put his team on his back, but Barley's not going to allow him. What great defense and hustle by Tyrone Barley. Look at this defense. Great hustle as he goes to the floor. You know they want to get the ball into Wagner's hands to allow him to take over.
Wood turns, goes glass, and connects.
He had 2 huge bank shots in the 4th quarter to start things off in the 4th quarter against St. Pat's.
4 points for the wide body. Slices the Seton Hall lead to 3. 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. 12th annual Tournament of Champions. At the rack, I'm Bruce Beck along with Rob Kennedy. Glad you could join us tonight on CN8 for a heck of a doubleheader. Natural outside Curry. Joe Martinez along the perimeter. Here's Sullivan. And the rebound of Barkley. Wagner quickly to the front court. And a foul on Curry. No doubt about that one. That's a reach, and that's number 3.
And the key is your description quickly. How fast is he with the basketball when he's out in transition? That's how he scored that game-winning basket with just 4 seconds to cover the length of the floor. The reach in by Curry.
Bobby Farrell's going to leave him in for now. Wagner, baseline, fall away. Got it.
Try and guard that. Backs you in, the spin. He's able to create his own shot anytime he wants to.
2,175 career points for Wagner coming into tonight. He has an outside shot at breaking the all-time record set by John Samoji of St. Peters of New Brunswick, 3,310 back in 1968.
And the amazing thing, remember, they only played 17 games last year. If they're eligible for non-conference games in the state tournament, he gets at least another 10 games.
That's another 300.
Exactly. 300 maybe. No, if he's on a good run, it might be 400 points.
On the turnover, it's Camden ball. They've pulled within 1. Wagner, off balance. He hits it!
And the thing that's amazing, everybody in the building knows when he touches it that he's going to go ahead and shoot it. Every team coming in says we've got to figure out a way to stop Milt Wagner's son.
15 for Wagner. He's hit 6 in a row. And stepping out of bounds is Curry, and the momentum swinging to Camden. I'll tell you, recently when the Camden Panthers beat Neptune in the state semifinal, it was a 20-year revenge for Milt Wagner, whose team was #1 in the country that year, 1981, I think it was, and they lost to Neptune by about 20, and Milt said to his son, this one is personal.
Tell you what, most memorable high school game I've ever been at, down at Jadwin Gym. Our director, John Anderson, was there as well. I was sitting in the 2nd row. He was directing the game. I was sitting in the 2nd row. I was a sophomore in high school. Neptune had beat us up earlier in the year and went to see it, and it was an amazing game.
Billy Thompson, Milt Wagner losing to Neptune. They were #1 in the country at the time, but They got their revenge recently in the state tournament this year. Curry pulls up for 3. Rebound to Nutter. Doesn't play like a freshman.
He's got great poise. He's got all the skills, but his feel for the game certainly well beyond a freshman.
Barley's got it. Seton Hall Prep back in front by 1.
All of a sudden, all the defense falls off of him. He was wide open, able to hit.
Camden led at the end of the first quarter, 15-5. Seton Hall Prep outscored him 16-4 in the second to lead by 2 at the half. Wood forces it. Natural triggers. Here's Sullivan. Plays it up. No good.
Oh, credit Brown for getting back defensively and bothering Sullivan. Good hustle by the junior guard.
And a push is called on Jamar Nutter. And Seton Hall Prep has committed the only fouls of the third quarter.
Seton Hall foul number 22, Jamar Nutter, his first.
That's the first on Nutter, and I believe the 4th team foul at Seton Hall Prep. Camden has none. We'll be back. I wish I could eavesdrop on that conversation. John Calipari, new coach at Memphis, talking to Tommy Amaker, whose Seton Hall Pirates are headed to the Sweet 16 at Syracuse. I like a 6'8" kid. What do you think of that 6'9"?
I'll take Wagner. No, you don't. No, I want him. No, no.
Now, when I went to the Sweet 16, I got to tell you something. Well, one guy who's definitely headed to Seton Hall is that young man, Marcus Toniel, who broke his foot on January 24th. A lot of people thought that the Seton Hall season would go down the drain. He now fancies himself as an assistant coach. Bobby Farrell says he never shuts up. I'll say slow down to the team. He says, push it, push it.
Well, you saw him the other night as he gathered around with the crowd watching the Seton Hall University game on our monitors, leading the cheers. He always has something to say.
He had a pin inserted in his broken foot, and they're hopeful after the operation everything will be fine for next year, where he will be at Seton Hall University.
Big-time rebound there by Curry. Again, at 6'5", he plays so much bigger than his height, takes up space, and really gets off the floor with some power.
Second foul on Barkley. First team foul of the second half committed by the Panthers. It's 28-27. Seton Hall Prep by 1. Nutter double team. Gets rid of it quickly. Open. Sullivan buries it.
Second time they've been able to swing the ball out of the half-court trap. Once it's reversed out of the first trap, he's wide open from deep.
And back on the other end, Wagner connects.
Wow.
A quick 2.
A quick 2. I mean, he just catches and goes.
Can't take your eye off him for a minute. It's 31-29, Seton Hall Prep. Sullivan penetrates. Good look to Natural, who lays it in.
And he had great patience as he got into the lane. Looked like he was going to give it up early. Might have been deflected. Able to get a little bit further to find Natural.
Wagner goes 1-on-2, and he's called for traveling.
Wow, looked like the defense might have been riding him a little bit.
I don't know about that call. Matthew Perry is back in for the Panthers, and heading to the bench, a disconsolate James Pulley. There's Bobby Farrell, been coaching at Seton Hall Prep for 23 years. Off the bench, Russell Verducci, all-county linebacker, outfielder for the baseball team. Tough and a banger.
And the back straight man out of the little half-court trap.
Natural to Verducci. Sullivan. Barley has trouble handling. Now he pulls up and connects.
Well, by the time he finally gathered the basketball, Wagner had already gone after the steal, so he was by him.
8 for Barley. And a 6-point lead for Seton Hall Prep. Dorian Brown takes it all the way himself. And it's followed up, no good by Wood. Pulled in by Verducci. Barley. Wild shot by Barley, and Wagner comes down with the ball.
He needed to drop it off to Natural.
He throws it away. Sullivan picks it up. Seton Prep calling out a play with 1:05 to go in the period. Barley.
Bad shot.
And Barkley with the board.
They hold the basketball out to run something, and you take a quick shot.
Let's see if Wagner takes it himself. Rebound Barkley. Rebound Barkley. He puts it in.
And he gets after it on the offensive glass. The game against Florence, where he had 31, 8 of his baskets were on putbacks. Gets after it on the offensive board.
So Barkley with 8 points. Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Seton Hall holding for 1. Their lead is 4. Nutter working against Perry. Back outside it goes Sullivan. And a reach-in foul is called on Brown. Second team foul on the Panthers.
Camden very aggressive, not allowing Seton Hall to hold the basketball, coming out and challenging. That's just their second team foul, so it's a lot easier to be aggressive on the ball.
Sullivan with 5. Loses the handle, gets it back. Here's Barley, way off the mark. And that will do it for the third quarter of play. 8 minutes of basketball to decide the Tournament of Champions for the year 2000, the first title game of the millennium. And it's a dandy. Seton Hall Prep 35, Camden 31. Eight minutes of basketball to go. Seton Hall Prep 35, Camden 31. There's a pretty good ball player, huh?
Oh, he was a great player. Now assistant coach for John Chaney.
Nate Blackwell. They're all out in force tonight to watch this talented group. Here's Wagner. Penetrates, puts it up and in. And Camden pulls within 2.
Oh, great move, and once again, he's unstoppable in the open floor. They've been able to contain him in the half court, but not when he's in transition.
2-point ball game. Camden crowd coming alive. Curry. Outside Nutter. And the rebound to Arthur Barkley.
Been a long time since Curry got a good touch in the low post.
Wagner with it. Wagner's had a good feel here in the second half. Wagner pulls up for 3. In and out. And the rebound to Nutter. That would have brought the roof down and given Camden the lead.
Oh, net. Camden section is really into this game.
Packed house at the rack. Offensive foul is called on Barley.
And once again, it's O.G. Barclay coming over and giving up his body. does a great job on the weak side defensively. As soon as he sees the drive, he comes over, holds his ground. Good call. There's no contact up top with the block. Great defense underneath.
Wagner came up with the block, and it was Barkley who gave up his body. (35-33). Don't forget, Sports Talk is coming up next on CN8. Brian Baldinger is the host tonight with Stephen A. Smith for the Philadelphia Inquirer. We invite you to watch Sports Talk live Monday through Thursdays at 10 p.m.
Well, you don't have to rush back and do the show tonight. They gave you off, huh?
This is a night off in this business.
You deserve it. There you go.
It's a pleasure to be with you tonight to watch the high school talent, because to me, there's nothing like a great high school game.
Now, and the excitement in the building and everybody getting behind their schools. Look at the prep section, the Camden section, really into the game.
I'll tell you, the enthusiasm here is unbelievable. Camden with the ball. Down by 2. Tyrone Barley draped all over DeJuan Wagner. And Camden throws it away. That's the first time in a while after squandering 15 opportunities in the first half.
Wagner sensed the double team that they were going to run a defender at him and got rid of the basketball. And a good opportunity. 21st turnover for the Panthers.
Foul called away from the ball.
Oh, they call a double foul. That's a big call because Mark Curry's got 3.
So it's both Curry and Wood who are ticketed here. They were both pushing off. So the ball will be at side court, and a double foul has been charged.
And the basketball should be Camden's, because on a double foul, you go to the possession arrow. So it becomes a turnover in sense for Seton Hall as well. He had 3. The double foul gives him 4.
So Curry has 4 fouls. That's the first personal on Wood, and that is a big double foul against Seton Hall. So Curry comes out, and Russell Verducci goes back in.
And this is where now Camden has to go find O.G. Barclay inside, because without Curry to body up against him inside, Seton Hall becomes much smaller.
Dorian Brown knocked away, gets it back. Here's Barkley spinning, turning, hitting.
Well, good recognition by Camden to see the mismatch. As soon as Curry went to the bench, take advantage of the big guy inside.
Tied at 35. 6:05 to play, fourth quarter. And a traveling violation against the prep.
And credit Wagner for great defense. He jumped out into the lane, denying Barley coming out on the wing. That forced the turnover.
Seton Hall has not scored a point here in the fourth quarter. And the ball taken away by Sullivan. Sullivan goes to the hoop, and he gets a foul. Sullivan did it all himself. Here's a guy who played behind Brandon Knight and Emil Mitchell last year. Rarely played, but Bobby Farrell talked to him over the summer and said, you know, point guards generally are born, not made, but you can go out there and become a great point guard and help our team, and he did.
And he has. He's been their leading assist player for Coach Farrell. See neither team really getting to the foul line much. We showed in the open that neither team shot it well in the semifinals. Seton Hall making amends here in the championship game, 4 of 5 right now.
Amani Wilson back in for Camden. Dorian Brown goes to the bench.
And Sullivan has just really emerged here late in the season. Career high 21 in the Pro PLA final, career high against CBA. And his recruitment has really picked up as his game has picked up here in his senior season.
14 points in the ball game for Sullivan. Pirates back up by a deuce. Wagner off balance, rejected by Sullivan. Wagner gets it back and puts it in.
He just stays right with it. Great initial defense by the prep. And Wagner still makes him pay.
21 for Wagner. Following the footsteps of Milt Wagner and Billy Thompson and Kevin Walls and Billy Culbertson and Ron Itchy Smith, perhaps the greatest of them all. Verducci has it knocked out of bounds, but he was fouled. You know, there was an article in the Star Ledger this past weekend, Rob, and it listed the 10 best players ever in the century, essentially, in New Jersey. And Ron Itchy Smith was listed on that group.
And they had him in many different ways, as well as by decade. Kelly Tripucka, guy who would get a lot of votes. Kevin Boyle earlier on talking about Tripucka as maybe the all-time great.
But Ron Itchy Smith led Camden to back-to-back state titles in '59 and '60. He was considered South Jersey's all-time best player, a deadly shooter who went on to Tennessee State.
And you look at anytime you put together those all-century, all-decade teams, you're going to keep a couple people off.
I had a couple disagreements there. I was wondering where Billy Raftery was. Great scorer in Jersey. And also Rick Barry was left off that list, but he wasn't maybe as great a high school player as he became at Miami and the NBA. Verducci hits the first, in and out on the second. It's a 1-point lead for Seton Hall Prep with 5:15 to play. Two programs rich in tradition. Camden in purple. Seton Hall Prep in the white with the blue trim. Wagner goes to the hoop. And a foul is called, an offensive foul on DeJuan Wagner.
And it was Verducci, the football guy. He's ready to give up his body. Again, you know he's going to the basket, so if you can slide over and get good defensive rotation, you can step in and pick one up.
C. Milt Wagner looking on. He has followed this team's rise every step of the way. Barley directing traffic to Verducci. Seton Hall is small without Curry, who's on the bench with 4 fouls, and a double dribble called against the Pirates. Let's go back to that last foul, DeJuan Wagner. Let's see what happened.
A look at the defensive rotation. Verducci able to slide over and pick it up underneath.
Barkley, Wagner penetrates, forces it. Barkley with the board, has it knocked away, and it goes out of bounds. And it's Camden basketball.
Wagner lost his balance, slipped as he got into the lane. But as is the case so many times, Arthur Barkley there to clean up the garbage. All over the board.
.4:30 to play. Camden down by 1.
Sullivan needs to be careful, a lot of contact outside.
And the ball through the legs of Teron Wood. And it is still Camden ball.
How? Where'd that one come from?
I don't know.
The Prep right now in a field goal drought. No baskets over the last 5 minutes.
Ball intercepted by Sullivan by himself. Lays it in.
Well, that stops the drought. Great defense, turns into an easy layup.
40-37. Brown looking to the middle, looking for Wood. Batted out of bounds by Seton Hall. Camden will keep it. James Pulliam returns. Amani Wilson heads to the bench.
So Glenn Jackson calling out the baseline out of bounds play.
Pulliam drives, and he's called for steps.
Wow, a lot of contact down below. Camden bench doesn't like it.
Seton Hall ball. And each possession now becomes more and more important in a low-scoring game where, you know, points are at a premium.
25 turnovers. If you're going to make every possession worth something, you better take care of the basketball.
Mark Curry of Seton Hall is still on the bench with 4 fouls at the 3:45 mark. Nutter gets it over to Barley. Back to Sullivan.
Good patience, and they'll reset.
And a timeout call by Seton Hall Prep, 22nd timeout.
Good call right there to settle things in. Let's see if he took the timeout to put Curry back in.
3:34 to go, and a 3-point lead for Seton Hall Prep.
He's got a TV timeout coming, but You're not used to TV timeouts in a high school situation, so he takes the 20. But what he wants to do, it's a huge offensive possession, set things up, so you give up the 20 even though you've got the full timeout coming at the next dead ball.
Well, Seton Hall Prep won the Tournament of Champions a year ago after being runner-up in 98 and 97, also in 91. But they kind of got over the hump last year. You know, they were there so many times, and now they're trying to repeat without their best player. Marcus Toniello went down with a broken foot. This might be Bob Farrell's best coaching job ever.
Oh, and he's done such an unbelievable job. Last year, he was the MSG Coach of the Year in the Tri-State area, twice honored by the Star Ledger as the New Jersey Coach of the Year. And he took the timeout to get Mark Curry back into the game. Let's see if he gets a touch.
Sullivan out to Curry. Barley in the paint, puts it in.
And that's where he's real good, coming off the screen, curls, one dribble and pull up.
5-point lead for Seton Hall. Wagner goes coast to coast, runs into Curry, and a foul is called before. I believe it's on Natural out top before the shot. And that's a non-shooting foul. But they are now over the limit. So it's the third of Natural, 17 fouls Seton Hall Prep, 16 fouls on Camden, so the bonus works on the other end next time down.
And it's the first time Camden's been to the foul line all game long.
That's unbelievable.
Especially with DeJuan Wagner, who usually draws fouls by leaning in and trying to get to the bucket.
He was 14 for 14 from the line against Shabazz. Marcus Toniel just chirping away, having a good time. He should be nervous. This is crunch time. Wagner hits both. 23 for Wagner. And now we've got a timeout. TV timeout. The score is Seton Hall Prep 42. Camden 39. Down the stretch we go. Well, Jay-Z is in the house. He's often at the Garden, and tonight he's at the Rutgers Athletic Center. I'll tell you, he's seen a pretty good basketball game, too. We're 42-39 with just 3:13 to go.
Look at DeJuan Wagner's cheering section. Everybody's got those T-shirts with his picture plastered all over it.
Jay-Z sees a lot of basketball. Saw him at the Garden a couple of weeks ago.
Sitting up in the press box. Boyd Sands was up there with them earlier.
Natural goes the ball back to Barley. Down goes Sullivan. And a push is called on Wagner. And if that's on Wagner, that's number 4. Yes, it is. So 4 on Curry and 4 on Wagner. 1-and-1 time for Seton Hall Prep.
In any close game, you've got to be able to step to the line and make foul shots. Seton Hall Prep could not convert in the fourth quarter against Mendham. Just 1 of 11.
And they missed the front end of the 1-on-1 here. Jamar Nutter, the freshman, missing. Now the ball in the hands of DeJuan Wagner, who sometimes gets called for offensive fouls, but he just goes to the hoop with a reckless abandon, so he's got to watch himself a little bit. Wagner backing in, fall away, good.
What a great shot. You know he's got the 4 fouls, so he can't get all the way to the rim, so he pulls up, elevates over everybody.
Wonderful body control by Wagner. cuts the lead to 1 with 2:35 to play in the Tournament of Champions.
And a freshman handling the basketball and all this pressure.
Ball taken away by Brown. And he lays it in for the Camden lead.
Well, the speed of Brown, able to get out, get in the passing lane, force the turnover.
43-42 Panthers. Brown's first field goal in the ball game.
Robert Sullivan's got to go get the basketball to initiate offense.
Camden crowd is roaring right now. The Panthers lead by 1. Farley hands off to Nutter.
Got to try and see if they can't find Curry inside.
Here's Curry on the outside. Farley. Down to 1:50 to go in the fourth quarter.
Good solid defense by Camden, forces Seton Hall to take a timeout. Great defensive possession for the Panthers.
So a tremendous play by Dorian Brown. They call him Baby Glove after Gary Payton, and he showed Payton-like hands here.
Well, the quickness right there as Sullivan was about to turn instead of stepping through and receiving the basketball. He also is able to finish. Nice layup out ahead.
Glenn Jackson says he's the best defender in the state. And some might agree after that last play. I asked Glenn Jackson about coaching Camden, the great tradition. Is there pressure? He goes, I love it, but yes, there's pressure. If you go 25-1 and you lose the final game, they think you had a bad season.
That's right. Clarence Turner with all those state championships puts a lot of pressure on you to step in after him.
A minute 45 to play. It's Camden's lead by 1. 15-5 Camden at the end of the first quarter. Seton Hall took the lead by 2 at the half and by 4 at the end of 3 quarters of play. And here's Wagner's score. You can see he had 1 down quarter, and that was a quarter in which Seton Hall took command a little bit. And now he's picked it up in the second half, 16 second half points.
They're only going to be able to keep him down for a little while because he can create his own shot. See right here, he stops on a dime, able to jump back, elevates over everybody. Very tough to guard.
Wagner with 4 fouls, Curry with 4 fouls.
They've got to get Curry something inside. It's been a long time since we saw him post up.
Both teams are in the bonus. Both teams have committed 7 fouls. So it's 1-1 at both ends.
There he is.
Curry turns. Blocked by Barkley. Curry gets it back. And a foul? Yes, a foul called on the Panthers. And that will send Curry to the line.
How about the defensive play initially by Barkley as he's able to go up. Seton Hall does a good job of finding Curry. That's where the basketball needs to go. Great block. Curry stays with it, though, and you see the contact down below.
Curry is just a 60% free throw shooter. 2 shots. He had a career-high 23 against Barringer in the ECT. Career-high 15 boards against Livingston this year. Tie ball game. Seton Hall by 1. A minute 27 to play.
See what they do to try and keep the ball out of Wagner's hands.
Here's Wagner. Drives. Offensive rebound, Pulliam. Kept alive by Barkley. Barkley puts it up and in.
Now the 2 big guys getting it done inside. Mark Curry at one end. Another terrific offensive rebound to stay with it by Barkley.
45-44 Camden. 1 minute to play in the Tournament of Champions. And the ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Pulliam. Seton Hall basketball.
And Camden, we talked about Seton Hall's man-to-man pressure in the first half. Well, Camden has matched it here with their quickness in the second.
Natural outside to Barley. Seton Hall prep down by 1. Nutter, the freshman. Sullivan. They go to Curry inside. Good defense by Barkley. Knocks it away. And the ball is picked up by Camden. Wagner with it.
I think I want a foul.
Wagner hacked by Barley. And he'll go to the line for 1-on-1 with 36.3 seconds to play as his dad, Milt, enjoys the moment.
Little celebrating early, still a lot of time, 36 seconds. Up by 1, he has an opportunity to stretch it to 3 from the line. Remember, it's still a 1-and-1. You got to step up there and hit the first.
Wagner is 2 for 2 from the foul line in the game, and that is all as far as free throw shooting for Camden tonight. He's creeping up on his average, and more importantly, he gives Camden a 2-point lead.
Big foul shot right here. Get it out to the 3-point lead.
DeJuan Wagner with 27. Camden's lead is 3.
Still plenty of time. You don't have to worry about the 3. Go get the first quick 2 you can find.
Nutter across the midcourt line. Nutter penetrates, pulls up. Rebound Curry, and he's fouled from behind.
Offensive rebounding at both ends. Everybody doing a great job. Every time a shot goes up, people go to challenge. So if you're smart, you're able to get inside rebounding position.
Foul is on Teron Wood, his 3rd. Timeout on the court with 22.9 seconds to play. And Curry going to the free throw line. Camden with a 20-second timeout. 2 full timeouts remaining for Camden. 1 full for Seton Hall.
I want press break for him. Hey, come on, y'all. You take the ball up, you pick up the line, you open the corner, come back. Hey, high on 3, baby. High on 3. 1, 2, 3, high.
Good job in the timeout. You want to set the scene. You saw Glenn Jackson tell his team, we have 2 timeouts. If you get in trouble, you can use one. Also making sure that they're set up for the press break. Obviously, if Seton Hall is able to convert from the line, they're going to be up in full court pressure.
Senior Mark Curry goes to the free throw line. 12 points for Curry. And 6 rebounds, and he hits the first to cut the Camden lead to 2.
Nick the front of the rim and climbs in.
Now the problem for Seton Hall is you don't want to foul Wagner, and the only way you can claw back in this is to win 2 for 1 or 3 for 2. Curry hits them both, cuts the lead to 1. Timeout Seton Hall, that's their last timeout.
And that's a good timeout, because if you don't take it, we saw in the semifinal game how quickly they inbounded the ball to Wagner as he was able to race up for the winning shot. If you've got things set up right now off the timeout, maybe you've got an opportunity to force it into somebody else's hands, where then you're going to give up the quick foul.
2 timeouts remaining for Camden. Camden has 9 team fouls, so the next time they foul Seton Hall will shoot 2 free throws. Seton Hall prep with 8 team fouls. Camden would still be shooting the 1-and-1 on this time down the court.
A possession arrow to the prep as well as we give you our reset. So Seton Hall's going to obviously try and get up in the full court pressure. If you get a steal, fine. But if the basketball's in somebody else's hands besides Wagner, try and come up with the steal and give up the foul if you can. Don't allow it to get swung back and put into Wagner's hands. I'd let somebody else beat me.
Camden back on the floor, looking for their first Tournament of Champions title. Seton Hall prep won it a year ago. There's DeJuan Wagner, who leads the state in scoring, averaging 32.8 per game. He's got 27 tonight. Camden will inbound. Having trouble, and finally they get it to Wood, and he is fouled, which is good for Seton Hall in this case. They fouled somebody other than Wagner. It's on Sullivan. Well, they double teamed Wagner. Barley was guarding him in front. Sullivan giving some support from behind. So Teron Wood, the 6'6", 265-pound senior, will go to the line for 1-and-1. Next time down, it's 2 shots on either side. 1 point Camden lead, 21.6 seconds remaining. He hits the first, and that's the tough one.
It's a tough one because you get the second, a lot of pressure on him. Hit it in a little shake after it goes in.
2-point Camden lead. Make it 3.
Still enough time for a 2 and a quick timeout.
Sullivan bringing it up against Brown. Nutter for 3. Rebound, Camden, foul call. James Pulliam will go to the line with 10.2 seconds remaining. 2 shots for Pulliam.
Oh, they had an open look for 3. You go ahead and take it if it's a good open look. Hit the back of the rim. How about the courage by Nutter as a freshman to step up and take it? Pulliam's got an opportunity to maybe ice this game away from the line.
Nutter got a decent look. The Camden faithful is starting to rock, but they need Pulliam to pull through here. 2 shots. 4-point Camden lead, 2-possession ball game.
Well, they didn't shoot foul shots for 3 quarters until deep in the 4th, but Camden has won this game from the foul line, making clutch foul shots down the stretch.
Ball goes out of bounds. Seton Hall ball. 8.4 to play. They need 2 possessions. They've got to score. No timeouts left. They'd have to foul quickly. Barley lunges, fires, rebound, Barkley. And with 1.8 seconds to play, a foul is called on Seton Hall. And this one is as good as over. And Camden, with a return to glory, is going to win the Tournament of Champions. Wow. And DeJuan Wagner gets a huge hug from Arthur Barkley.
His housemate, they've been living together with DeJuan's mom. This is more for the last 4 years. You can see it's been a long road, not able to be in the tournament last year. They came in this year on a mission. It looks like mission accomplished.
30-year-old coach Glenn Jackson taking over the reins from legendary coach Clarence Turner. And what a job Glenn Jackson has done.
And the chant goes out, you want the high, you got the high.
Camden was 2-4 to start the season. And if they win this ball game, and it looks like they will be 26 of 27.
And what a great job Coach Jackson has done. After the tough start, Wagner a little banged up at the start of the season with a bad ankle. But once he got healthy, this team has really responded to every challenge put in front of them.
Camden won the state title in 59, 60, 74, 78, 79 with Billy Culbertson and Dennis Still. 82 with Billy Thompson in its senior year. 84, 86 with the Karstoffen group, Brown, Banks, Walker. 87, and now in 2000.
The new tradition has started.
And this one is over. Camden has won the Tournament of Champions. And they are mobbing the floor at the rack.
Well, just as they did the other night in celebration up at FDU.
What a win for the number 3 seeded Panthers, who improved to 28-5 and win their first ever Tournament of Champions title, 50-46 over the defending champions, Seton Hall Prep.
DeJuan Wagner stepping up when his team needed it, trailing heading into the 4th quarter. Bob Farrell's team, what a terrific run. Even without their star player, Marcus Toniel, they showed that they were much more than a one-man team. Great sportsmanship by Bob Farrell as he remains out on the floor to extend congratulations to Camden as well.
And Milt Wagner smiling, proud, looking over at his son DeJuan and saying, you have carried the torch and you have brought this great Camden tradition back. So we start the new millennium with a hint of the old in a return to glory for Camden High School. And you think of the great names, the Ron Itchy Smith, the Derek Ramseys, the Art Stills, the Billy Culbertsons, the Kevin Walls, the Milt Wagners, the Billy Thompsons. So many titles, such great tradition. They start the year losing 4 of 6, losing to powerhouses Jacksonville, Ribault, North Miami. Along the way, they lost to Roman Catholic. But they found their touch at the right time, Rob.
Oh, and 2 great players able to carry this team throughout. Certainly DeJuan Wagner gets a ton of attention, as he certainly deserves, but great job as well by O.G. Barkley throughout this whole season. His putback basket got them their final lead of the game, and they never let it back.
And Teron Wood hitting those 2 big free throws to seal the win for Camden. Neither team shot well. Actually, Camden shot fairly well. You consider what happened to them was just turnovers. They committed 25 turnovers, and they shot 51% for the game. That's tremendous shooting, but it didn't seem that way because they always lost the ball.
Especially in that run in the second quarter. You take the second quarter away, and they certainly had a terrific game from the start, up 15-5 at the end of 1. It's just that second quarter where Seton Hall's defense really turned it up, got them back into the game, and from that point it was nip and tuck right up until the final minute.
DeJuan Wagner leads the way with 27. Arthur Barkley, 12 points, 14 rebounds, a double-double. And for Seton Hall, Robert Sullivan with 16 points. Mark Curry, 14 points and 7 boards, although in foul trouble. And Tyrone Barley just 5 for 16 from the field. He had 10 points in the game.
And show them what they've won. There's the trophy. Wally Zuber, supervisor officials throughout the tournament, holds on to it.
What a beautiful piece of hardware. And it's going south from here to Camden. The purple and gold from the Olympic Conference. The Group 3 state champs are taking home that first ever beautiful trophy. And a lot of emotion now shown by this Camden team. DeJuan Wagner, just a junior, so he'll have a chance to come back and defend. And Glenn Jackson handling himself beautifully throughout this year.
And he did a great job making sure that this team was focused, that they didn't allow all the hoopla around this team to bother them, and they came and accomplished what they wanted to.
50-46, the Camden Panthers are the champions for the year 2000. We'll take a short break. A lot coming up on our post-game show, so stay with us on CN8.
Welcome back to Rutgers, and again, your final scores 50-46 as the Camden Panthers are #1 in the state of New Jersey, knocking off the defending champions. Well, Mick Moninhoff, Rob Brooks, great game tonight, Robert, and this seesaw game back and forth is pretty much what people thought they were going to see tonight.
A highly competitive game back and forth. We have the honor of sitting by the Camden section. These people were really into it. Their Camden Panthers gave them the game of a lifetime.
Well, let's go downstairs right now as Rob Kennedy is standing by with the winning coach. Rob.
All right, thanks a lot, Mick, and a very happy, exhausted. Tell you what, your team did a great job, great poise coming down the stretch. You really turned it up defensively, I think, in the second half.
Yeah, at the end of the game, we realized we had to dig deep.
and we still had 3 minutes left on the clock. I believe we were down 2. We just decided to dig in deep and make a concentrated effort on getting the ball down low. We thought that we could score well down low. DeJuan went to the baseline, Arthur went to the baseline, and all the guys started going down low. Curry had the 4 fouls. So we figured we just keep going down low and be persistent. That's what got us here all year. Persistence, persistence, persistence. And hey, after this 2-year drought, hey, we're happy. Very happy.
You didn't shoot any foul shots through the first 3 quarters. Yet when you had to step to the line and make big foul shots, that's where you won the game coming down the stretch.
That's how we won the state championship, down the stretch, shooting free throws. They kept telling us they were going to call the hand check. They didn't, but hey, we persevered, and we came out here with a victory. Camden's back on top.
The other night you said your team was on a mission after not being in it last year. Certainly, I think this is a great feeling. Tell me, how's it feel compared to when you played and won a state championship, now coaching and winning one?
Like I've always said, this is much more rewarding. You see the looks on these guys' faces, the city, the town. Hey, that's great. That's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for. Hey, they locked us out last year. No more locking Camden out. No more locking Camden out.
All right, congratulations. And with me, where did Wani go? Wani's hiding over there. It's amazing. He's got so much attention. Everybody's with him, yet he's still able to step up and make big plays. Really shows you what type of mental toughness he has.
He had to dig deep. We had a little argument in the first half. Hey, but we put that behind us and came out. Come on.
Congratulations, Wani. Terrific performance. You hit the huge layup to win the game the other night and get you to this point. You guys made some huge buckets coming down the stretch here again tonight.
Just wanted to know. We came out sluggish second quarter, let them back in it. Now, I lost a little bit, got a little frustrated. I just went in the halftime and the group came back out strong.
Well, 2 years now, a lot built up. You see the emotion with you. It's been a long stretch, but you guys able to accomplish your goal. Certainly not only great for your team, but the whole city of Camden.
We've been through a lot. You know, it seemed like nobody liked us.
Yo, we got to go to the middle, man.
Just wanted to know. We got here, so we didn't want to let it go.
And down the stretch, they did a great job. Barley really was all over you the entire time, yet you were still able to get yourself open for a couple key shots. You really worked without the basketball tonight, and I think let the game come to you somewhat.
Yeah, you know, he played a good defense job. He played hard the whole game. So I take my hat off to him. You know, I just wanted to more. I wasn't going to let him get me frustrated, just keep going at it.
You talk about the emotion, your mom, your dad. We saw you hugging your dad after the game. Certainly a lot of pressure on you and your teammates coming in. And as we said, a lot of emotion from you.
Just sit right here.
Just wish my grandpa was here.
All right, and OG Barkley here as well, had a huge putback basket to get the final lead. The senior, you guys have come through a lot. Terrific performance.
Yeah, we just had to. This is my last game, all the seniors' last game. At halftime we was down, we just all got together, said we wanted more than them, and we came out with it. We were number 1 in the state now.
Well, and you do a great job rebounding all the time. When that last miss came off, what were you thinking about? Knowing that you were down, if they come up with the rebound, it's going to be tough.
I had to get it. DeJuan came over to me, said, oh, if whatever comes to glass is yours. I took it to the head, and I seen the chance, and I got it. I hear you. I just took it right back up.
All right, now how's it go? You want the high?
You got the high. You want the high. You got the high. You want the high. You got the high. You want the high. You got the high.
All right, Mick, it's all yours. They got the high.
Well, Rob Kennedy's starting something downstairs, but we still have a lot more to go through when we come back. Going to take a break right now and highlights of the second half as Camden comes back in roaring fashion to win the boys tournament of champions. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us on CNN. Back here at Rutgers, and yes, Camden certainly does reserve the respect now as they win it 50-46 over Seton Hall Prep. Well, let's go right into the second half highlights on this one. But Rob Brooks, early on, 21-19, Seton Hall led, and Robert Sullivan had it cooking.
Out of the locker room, Robert Sullivan just on fire. He bangs a 3 there. You see him there on a breakaway. Right out of the locker room, it seemed that Seton Hall Prep took the momentum and started to run away with this thing, Mick.
But the lead did change, 27-26 as DeJuan Wagner stepped it up.
DeJuan Wagner, just a fantastic player. We were told earlier that he's a second half player, and you see there, DeJuan's starting to take his game to the next level.
But then Robert Sullivan draining the 3, and the Prep up 31-27 at that point. And I think some notes being taken by Amaker and Calipari right there. And then Tyrone Barley getting in the act for Seton Hall Prep.
Tyrone Barley, not as active as many people thought he would be this afternoon, but when they needed him, he stepped up and hit the big jumper there.
Still hot, down to Dewan Wagner. What can you say about him?
Dewan Wagner, look at the body control, just the way the finger roll was so sweet. Dewan can really do it all. You're going to see him again.
Arthur Barkley, the turnaround here, a 6-point run, and it looked like Camden might pull away at this point, but once again, Sullivan stepping up for Seton Hall Prep.
Way to step into the passing lane and get the pick off right there. He had 16 points on the afternoon. We said the guards would have to step up, and Sullivan did.
Wagner had 4 fouls, but still hits the J here. And then it's Dorian Brown coming up with a steal and a layup, and Camden's going to go up 43-42.
Dorian Brown played 2 different games. In the first half, he had 7 turnovers. In the second half, only 1.
Arthur Barkley did get in a little bit of foul trouble in this game. You'll see in this play here, he'll foul Curry. Now Curry stays with it. He did go to the foul line. He hit 2 free throws. Seton Hall Prep led 44-43, but that was the last time they would lead in this one because Barkley decided to step it up at the other end.
Barkley quiet for most of the game, but when they needed him down the stretch, all of a sudden he appeared like a genie. Look at the tenacity, working the board, staying there, keeping a great position, and getting the putback.
So both coaches kind of drawing up the game plan for the final 22 seconds. But down the stretch, it would be Camden hitting 5 straight free throws, and that really the difference in this one. Jamar Nutter takes a 3. It won't drop, and Seton Hall Prep sees their title hopes slip away as Camden wins it 50-46 over Seton Hall Prep to knock off the defending champions. Well, let's take a look at our final stats. And Rob, in this one, field goal percentage didn't really come into play because 51-38, all things considered, this game came to the foul line.
With the turnovers, everything balanced itself out. But let's bring Coach Kevin Boyle back in. Now, Coach, you said that Wagner was going to have the big game if Camden was going to come up. He didn't get 36, but he was close.
Well, he had just about the same in the type of game it was. We're talking 50-46. Wagner had 27 points, which I believe is 54% of their total points in the game. So he was fabulous. 18 in the second half. Barley still played good day, but he made big-time shots, took him to the baseline, used his strength, and shot over him. He was just tremendous in the second half. And again, foul shots down the stretch. Wagner hits 2. Wood steps up calmly and hits 2. And then Pulliam hits 1 to ice it late in the game.
Coach Kevin Boyle from St. Pat's of Elizabeth, I want to thank you for coming on CNA tonight. Really enjoyed the insight you were able to give us.
I appreciate it. I just want to congratulate Camden and their fans. They had a great team and tremendous effort and heart by the whole community.
All right, Coach, thanks again. Let's go downstairs to Bruce Beck and Rob Kennedy for final thoughts.
Well, guys, it was a heck of a ball game. It wasn't always pretty, but it was played with such spirit and such fight, and it came down the stretch, and the guy that was the big-time player made the big plays.
Well, certainly the intensity and the defensive intensity for both teams was tremendous. A lot of turnovers, but I think that's because guys were out and guarding people.
You know, you talk about the great tradition of these 2 programs, and for Camden, as I mentioned early, here's a chance to relive some of their past glory.
And you could see the emotion not only from the players on the team and from Coach Jackson, but from the fans. I mean, this was a coming-out party for Camden. This was a big game, not only for the team, but also for the city of Camden.
All right, Mick, it's been fun being a part of this ball game tonight. Let's go back to you.
All right, thanks very much, gentlemen, and a great job on your part as well. Well, Rob Brooks, great night of basketball, just like we said we would see. Red Bank Catholic, the champion on the girls' side, and now Camden, the champ on the boys' side tonight.
Camden felt they had something to prove coming into this game this evening. They did prove their point right here.
Well, the point has been proven, and this has been a great night of basketball. 41 crew members in all on CN8 giving their all so you can see the Tournament of Champions here tonight. Well, stay tuned because Sports Talk is coming up next. Brian Baldinger will take your calls and questions. Glad you could join us from the rack tonight. For the entire staff, I'm Mick Moningoff. So long, everybody.